Welcome back to the Explainer. If you've been writing Python scripts and feeling like your codebase is eventually turning into a chaotic, tangled mess, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're taking those wild, dynamic scripts and transforming them into robust, self-documenting architectures. We're going to do this by exploring the absolute power of Python type hinting and Mypy. Let's get right into it. Okay, here is our roadmap for today. 1. The dynamic dilemma. 2. Enter type hinting. 3. Collections in advanced. 4. Custom objects in any. 5. Mypy static checking. And finally, 6. Our summary and challenge. Section 1. The dynamic dilemma. Freedom versus chaos. So here's the thing about Python's dynamic nature. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You can assign a variable to an integer, and then literally the next line reassign it to a string, and Python is totally fine with that. It's basically like tossing a bunch of random mixed shapes into a wooden box. Sure, it's incredibly fast for whipping up a quick script, but when your codebase grows, it turns into a total nightmare. You inevitably step back and think, wait, what was actually supposed to go inside this box? And this freedom, it directly leads to chaos in your functions. When you define a generic function parameter without a specific type, you're leaving every other developer, including your future self, completely in the dark. Someone's going to look at that parameter and ask, okay, is this supposed to be a list, maybe a dictionary, and what in the world does this function actually return? It's just a massive guessing game. Section 2. Enter type hinting, embedding context. Let's fix that guessing game. Type hinting is basically embedding context directly into your code, and it gives us 3 absolutely massive benefits. First, error prevention. We catch bugs before the code even runs. Second, readability. Your code suddenly becomes completely self-documenting. And third, IDE support. Your code editor's autocomplete features get supercharged because finally it actually knows what kind of variables it's dealing with. It's a game changer. So, how does this actually look at a basic level? It's surprisingly simple. By just adding a colon after your function arguments, like saying a certain variable is an integer, and adding a little arrow to show the return type is a string, we instantly build a strict shape sorter box. You're clearly defining expectations right on the surface. No more guessing. Section 3. Collections and advanced organizing data. Now, the evolution of the language is really fascinating here. In legacy Python, you actually had to import these capitalized types from a dedicated typing module just to handle collections. But if we look at modern Python, version 3.9 and up, you get to use native built-ins. That means you can directly annotate your lists, dictionaries, and tuples using standard lowercase keywords, completely skipping those external imports. Much cleaner, right? This makes organizing your data incredibly straightforward. Want a list of integers? Just write list of int. Need to map string keys to integer values? That's just dict, mapping str to int. Or maybe you need a strict tuple of exactly 2 integers. Specifying these native built-ins makes your data structures instantly understandable to absolutely anyone who reads your code. But let's be real, real-world data is pretty uncertain. To handle that elegantly, we use something called union when a variable might take multiple branching paths, like maybe it could be an integer or a float. And then there's optional, which is perfect for that classic maybe situation. You know, when a function might find a string or it might just come up empty and return none. And the syntax just keeps getting better. Python 3.10 introduced the pipe operator. It completely replaces the word union. So now you can literally just write int, a vertical pipeline, float to accept either type. It makes those branching type hints incredibly concise and so much easier to read. Section 4, custom objects and the any escape hatch. What about your own custom classes? Say you build a car class. Well, thanks to object-oriented typing, that class instantly becomes a usable type. You just use the class name itself as the hint. On the flip side, we have the any keyword. This is your escape hatch. When a variable truly needs 0 restrictions, using any throws the gates wide open. But I have to give you a serious warning here. Use any very, very sparingly. Relying on it too much literally defeats the entire purpose of type hinting. It completely turns off the type checker for that variable and ruins the disciplined, predictable architecture we've been working so hard to build. Seriously, proceed with caution. Moving on to Section 5, Mypy static checking, the missing piece. Here's the catch with everything we've talked about so far. Standard Python will still stubbornly try to run incompatible types. It actually ignores those hints at runtime. Enter Mypy. Mypy acts as our strict enforcer. It's a static type checker that works like an ironclad security checkpoint, a literal shield that shatters bad inputs before they ever have the chance to reach your production gears. The workflow is brilliantly simple. Step 1, you write your meticulously typed code. Step 2, you run Mypy static analysis in your terminal. Step 3, you catch and fix any logical errors it flags. And finally, Step 4, you confidently ship to production execution, knowing for a fact that your logic is completely safe and verified. Imagine writing a script that explicitly expects integers, but you accidentally pass it a string. If you run Mypy in your terminal against that flawed script, it's going to instantly flag that incompatible type. It catches the bug before execution, saving you from a critical, embarrassing type error crashing right in front of your customer. All right, Section 6, Summary and Capstone Challenge. Let's lock this in. Think of this as your architect's cheat sheet. You bring discipline to your primitives with basic types like int. You define strict collections like lists of strings. You handle key value pairs with dictionaries, and you explicitly map out uncertainty using that awesome pipe operator for multiple options or missing values. Definitely keep this mental map handy whenever you sit down to code. To truly grasp everything we've covered in this explainer, I've got a capstone challenge for you. Your mission is to build a self-documenting bank account function. It needs to securely process a float representing the balance and a list of floats representing transactions. Write it out, type it strictly, and then, most importantly, run it through the Mypy shield. As you deploy this powerful solution in your own workflows, I want you to ask yourself, are you ready to run your next Python script through the Mypy shield to make sure it's absolutely bulletproof? Are you ready to stop blindly guessing what your code does and start engineering it with absolute certainty? Thank you for joining me for this visual guide. Keep your code typed, keep it strict, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.